the pain, God is always there for me. No matter what the circumstances may be, no, God is always there for me. Yeah, through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times or through the separate me from your love, my Jesus. Nothing will be able to turn me away from you. I love you, Father. Anyhow, the afflictions of the righteous, the hearts of men getting more and more vicious. Brutality is on the increase. Tell me, when the love of God sees no power on earth to separate me from your love, my Jesus, nothing will be able to turn me away from you. I love you, Father. This level of crime, we love can eradicate. We must demand justice from the church and the state, and confess to God all our evil ways, and He will give us so much better days when we show love to each and every brother.
Listeners and viewers, welcome to Rebel Radio. Monday, yes, first working day of the week for us, and we have lots of views and interviews and information for you this evening. Last weekend was a bloody weekend. Yes. We had some fatalities on the roads. I think it was 2 fatalities and a number of accidents. And the police was busy too. Yes. Recovering several firearms and ammunition. And it was also a week when, as I said, there was lots of activities. Well, we are going to start today's program by going over to Guyana. Yes, and as you know here, we try to keep in touch with what is happening to our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean. Remember, we are one people. Yes, don't forget that. And I have with me this afternoon senior Guyanese journalist, Adam Harris. Adam, good afternoon to you.
And good afternoon to you too, my brother.
Yes, sir. How is Guyana today?
Well, same old, same old.
Yes.
It's a hot day.
Yes.
It's a hot day. And we have some problems with the distribution of seats in the various councils.
Yes.
Now, yeah, there are 3 opposition parties, and where we have a problem, that is where no party has a majority, then there are some problems. One in Region 10, which was once a stronghold of APNU.
Yes.
Well, this third party came in, and it was so they have to vote for the chairman. Now, the law doesn't allow for secret ballots, but the regional executive officer, who's appointed by the government, allowed votes for secret ballots in 2 of the regions, Region 4, the biggest one, and in Region 10. So Region 10 now has a deadlock. 9 for the major party, for the party that won the region, and 9 for the other 2 opposition parties. Now there is a process to determine the split. You should have another round, at least 2 other rounds of ballot, and people should indicate how they vote. And there is some system to calculate the weight of each vote based on the number of seats the party has. So in Region 10, the elections aren't complete. That process must be gone through. I know I'm confusing you.
Yes.
The party that won Region 10 is the new party.
WIN, WIN.
The council has WIN.
Yes.
The council has 18 seats. WIN has 9.
Okay.
APNU has 5. PPP, the ruling party, has 3. And the third opposition party, headed by this girl who was once APNU, Amanza Walton Desir, has 1. So when you count...
No, but when you count up, that is more than the 17 seats.
No, man. Yep. 9 for WIN.
Yes.
5 for PNC.
Yes, that's 9 and 5.
14.
That is 14.
3 for the PPP.
17.
And the 1 for Forward Guyana Movement.
Oh, that's 18.
That's right.
Yes.
So, WIN has 9, and they want the chairman. There were negotiations. APNU negotiated with WIN and said, okay, you can give us the vice chairman. WIN said no. APNU said, okay, give us the chairmanship of 2 of the committees. WIN said no. So at the moment, therefore, the vote for the chairman is deadlocked at 9-9. Okay. Follow me?
Yes.
Now there is a process to determine a leader. Up until 2018, the Minister of Government had the power to decide the vote. David Granger, removed that aspect. So now you have to sit down and you weigh the number of, for example, my party might have had a lot of votes, a lot of power, that would give me an extra vote or something on the committee.
Yes.
It's a little ticklish for even me. But the bottom line is they have to go back to complete the process.
Yes.
In Region 4, the largest region, the PPP has the more seats than the other parties.
Yes.
But when the opposition combine, they should have more. And that caused the confusion. Win was angry because of opposition in Region 10 and one other region, so Win abstained, effectively removing 7 votes from the vote that could have challenged the PPP on the council.
Yes.
So the PPP has the chairmanship and the vice chairmanship of Region 4 because Win, without discussing the issue with the other opposition parties, got angry and decided to abstain. So they give the government everything. And then they're going about saying how other parties colluded with the PPP. That's not true.
Yes.
But in the heat of the moment and confusion and a failure to understand the system, because they're new, they just screwed up the opposition on the whole.
Yes.
So that is what's going on here. At the same time, there is the indictment handed down by the United States against the leader of WIN and his father.
Right.
The next thing to follow is a request for extradition. That request has not come yet. Now, if the request comes in, the government has the power through the Attorney General to arrest the leader of WIN, but he has to go to court. So he can go to court and secure bail and challenge the extradition.
Yes.
It's happened in Trinidad with Jack Warren and thing. But we are waiting to hear the request for the extradition. And you know, it's an amazing thing with the Americans and the power. If they arrest this man and have him in prison, the Americans could easily rendition him, just abduct him and ship him out of the country. Though I don't know that will happen, because everybody will be looking.
But I saw where the government has indicated its willingness to extradite him.
You mean
his government?
Well, they can say anything, but the government does not extradite. The courts determine whether there is a valid reason for extradition.
Yes.
So the government can say what it likes.
Yes.
It doesn't extradite. So Mohammed is going to go to court if this request comes in. And so we could have a long, drawn-out battle, and the chips fall where they may.
Right.
What is interesting is that after the elections, the parliament has not been summoned.
Oh.
We have no parliament at the moment. And the government says he's within the constitution, and he's right. You have to call the parliament within 4 months of the elections. So the 4 months would end on the 2nd of November. And one view is that the government was aware of this indictment before it happened, so it has refused to swear in Mohammed because he would have by then become the opposition leader.
Yes.
And that in itself has issues. So at the moment, the parliament has not been convened, and we have no order of extradition as yet. So a lot of strange things are happening in Guyana at this moment.
Yes, it is. It is. It is really strange that after the elections in September,
Right.
and the parliament,
Yes.
and the parliament has not been sworn in as yet.
That's correct.
No.
That is correct.
So the government. What happened in the meantime? The government is functioning. They have not announced a cabinet.
Right.
So what the government is just operating as, I don't understand.
Look, we have a government here that does what it pleases, generally. For example, we had the old river bridge across the Demerara River. They built a new one. And immediately they closed down the old one. Now, that old bridge was like a monument. At one time, it was the longest floating bridge in the world. Now, in many countries, people keep monuments, so when visitors and what have you can look and see what was. But they closed it. And as expected, there were some accidents on the big bridge. So you could imagine the traffic jam.
Yes.
Nothing could pass. Whereas if you had kept that old bridge, even if it was operational for a month at a time or a certain time of the day, you divert traffic onto it and ease the congestion.
Yes.
That isn't happening. That isn't happening.
Okay.
So we are where we are.
But I would like to know how the government is functioning. If there is no cabinet has been sworn in.
They have a new cabinet. The government announced its cabinet.
Yes.
And they were sworn in.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But the members of parliament have not been sworn in.
Yes. Okay.
Because there is no parliament.
Yes. Oh. Let's see. Well, we have to watch and see what is going to happen.
Yeah, my friend.
So in the meantime, what is happening in the former opposition party? That Mr. Norton remains the leader of that party?
He is the leader, but he is not going to parliament. He has designated another member, a businessman named Terence Campbell, to lead the APNU members of parliament in parliament. He is not going back.
So did he win his seat? He didn't contest a seat?
No. Well, he contested the elections.
Yeah.
But, in Guyana, we have people don't vote for constituencies, they vote for a list.
Okay.
You vote for a party.
Yes.
And therein lies the problem. So his party was badly beaten, and generally, the leader in such a defeat would resign.
Yes.
But the members of his party are saying, look, we will need a transition period. So could you stay on? Outside of that transition period, only a Congress of the party can replace the leader.
Yes.
And the Congress is not due for another year and a piece. So he could resign, or he could sit there behind the scene and try to offer his advice. And that the party members at the moment seem to accept that he will remain as the leader and offer advice in the background and mentor and all of that.
Yeah.
But he will not be in the parliament. Of course, he can work in the field, because the party is now working in the field. You can go out there and meet people and talk to them and try to rebuild your membership. So he can do that.
Okay.
But he's not going to be a voice in parliament, no.
Okay. Understood. Yes. So how the new government, it's not the new government because it was the former government. How is the government settling in after elections?
My friend, I can tell you a lot of strange things happened. In the run-up to the elections, there were promises, The government gave out contracts in small communities. Whether you know to build a road or not, you got a small contract, and these were concrete roads. So you get together your people, and you make the foundation and all of that, and the concrete would be shipped in, and you just spread it. So a lot of that happened. And people said, we are getting money. You had cases where people got contract and they did not have any equipment. So they would go to the people with the equipment, and most of these people were government supporters. So this man would come and say, look, all right, this contract is for 15 million, give me $12 million, and I will do the work. And you pocket the $3 million and do whatever you want with it. You don't have to do any work, you get $3 million in your pocket.
Right.
And people fell for that. Mohammed went around, he shared out a lot of money because he's a big, rich man. Shared money, got people, and all of them look like me. To gravitate to the money.
Okay.
Elections are over. The money has dried up. And now they're complaining and crying, we don't have money. Nobody is giving us anything. So that's a little pressure cooker at the moment.
Yes. Okay. So, tell me something, Adam. It sounds as if the elections votes were bought during that election.
Well, first of all, it's illegal to buy votes, all right?
Yes.
But the people spent their money, and the government argued that we were not buying votes. Although there was evidence that they were buying votes, they paid people to wear their campaign material and all that. You have that. You also had cases of, the contracts that I spoke about. A lot of things where money flew to encourage people. And one who paid the piper called the tune. You give me the money, yes, I vote for you. So that happened. After the elections, no more money paying. So the people who grabbed that money to vote for whichever party is now sitting down lamenting and crying because they are broke. And those people look like me.
Okay.
Our people are the lot of grabbing without looking at the consequences, without looking at history.
Yes.
We just, who came to us with, as they said in the old days, the white man came with beads and trinkets and all of that.
Yes.
Well, we are still like that. And that is why I keep saying that people like me insist on being slaves. We don't reason, we don't look at the reality. We just grab at what comes our way and say, oh, this is the master. We grab at the crumbs and we feel that's it.
Yes.
And I mean, you're talking, I'm upset at this state of affairs, but then all I can do is talk about it, whether they listen or listen not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I talk to them, I write, I do a radio program every Wednesday, and I put the facts out there.
Yes.
I am not big on the social media. I don't have a social media platform. But people share some of the things I see on the social media platform. But it's too late now.
Yeah.
It's too late. The government is in place and you have to live with them for 5 years.
Right.
And it's what it is. It's what it is. For the first time in the history, 75 years, the PNC is not the leader of the opposition. 75 years.
Yes.
It isn't the government and it does not control the opposition. So that's what it is. You have to build back. Some of us are preaching the message, okay, those who left just took a holiday, we have to win them back.
Right.
So the long road to winning them back has begun. We're going out there and talking to them and explaining what happened and explaining the situation and saying to them, look, we warned you about this. Now you see what's happening, hoping that will convince you to come back. You know, but it's 5 years, my brother.
Okay. Well, Adam, we have to keep looking at what is happening and, keep it on the front line so that people can understand what is happening. But I want to thank you for your time today, and as we say on the radio, to be continued.
Okay, my brother.
Thank you, Adam. That was senior journalist there, Adam Harris, keeping us abreast of what is happening in Guyana. Let us take a break now. This is Rebel Radio.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, Hardware and Supplies is holding up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring and more. At Tools, Hardware and Supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
Oh, Jamaica eyes were built with fire, passion and vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores,
We're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky.
JPS, powering what matters.
Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio. And, one of the issues that we are focusing on here, and I don't know how many of our colleagues are focusing on it, but the plight of journalists. As you know, over 200 journalists have been killed in Gaza between October and now. And right here in the Caribbean, we have our own issues. For example, in Haiti, the president of the SOS Journalists Association there, Joseph Gollier, is now in exile. Listeners and viewers will remember that we spoke with Joseph on this program a couple of weeks ago, and when he told us about the number of death threats issued against him. And so he has decided that it would be safer for him to leave Haiti and to protect his life. And so he is now out of the country. I have with me the president of the Caribbean Media Workers Association, Mr. Panka, Harvey Panka, with me for us to talk about these issues. Good evening, Harvey.
Good evening, Desmond.
Yes, sir. How is it in Suriname today?
It's relaxed now since the elections and inauguration of the new government. So, yes, lots of discovery, a lot of scandals now coming off the surface of the water. We had a big scandal, the breakthrough in, we have the government company, how you can put it into English. We call it the milk. It's a milk company.
Yes.
We provide milk, cheap milk, and there was such a big scandal. So
they use raw cow milk in the fabrication process and imported milk powder.
Okay.
So there was company workers mixed with officials in the company. They embezzled like 17 million Surinamese dollar worth of milk powder.
Whoa.
The period 2018 till 2025.
Yes. Whoa.
So the top of that company is now in jail. So how can they? It's like, oh God.
Yes.
And they have so no big change. So the government is doing what they have to do.
Yes.
What we are trying to know is our how we call that, the loans that we have to pay back. That's the biggest concern now.
Mm-hmm.
So we have IMF restructuring program.
Yes.
And finished last year, and but we're still not where we're supposed to be. The exchange rate to the US dollar is still 38 to 40 Surinamese dollar for $1 US. So it's high enough. So the salaries are not on that level.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people, teachers, can't provide for themselves with a loan like 80,000 to 10,000 SRDs. It's like divided by, let's say, 40. It's like 200, 300 US dollars. You can't live from that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. By the way, the new government has presented its budget already?
Yes. And there's a big hole in the budget, like from $1 billion, like it's like 6 to 8 billion Surinamese dollars, SRDs, and they won't go back to the IMF because they say a lot of damage was done with the IMF restructuring program. Mm-hmm. So they want to enhance the, how you call it, let's see, the exact translation is the Dutch word. Give me a moment in English. Give me a moment, please, sir. The tax. Mm-hmm. So they will increase tax, but they have to do it in such a way that the common people doesn't have to pay more tax than we already pay. Yes. So gold industry, Suriname has a lot of gold, and as the president said during the budget presentation that we have a lot of gold being exported out of the country, but as the country itself, we don't see a lot of that money. So they have to the tax do the tax income better, and so that the government would earn more out of the emerging gold industry.
Yes,
in Suriname. Mm-hmm.
I know that the public sector workers were rated on the presentation of the budget to know what is their stake, or what has happened there.
So they were like, it's a new government. Let's wait and see. She didn't say a lot of things that were concerning to them. So they're open for discussions on how to work on tax income for the government also, and on restructuring, come up with let's say a homegrown like INF kind of program. Mm-hmm. But because we can't live with a exchange rate of 40 to the US dollar. Everything, even though Suriname can produce a lot, we do import a lot. So we have to change that and use more of what we grow ourselves.
Okay. Well, let us see. Well, the other issue, as you know, my brother, is that our colleague in Haiti is now in exile. And because of the death threats, he has received a number of death threats. And so he has decided to live outside.
Yes.
Yes.
We're very sorry to hear that, because we thought, as we thought in a previous program, that, we as journalists, we're waiting. I make that, I offer that up, that when at the next Caribbean leaders meeting, we have to find a way as journalists to urge the leaders of the Caribbean to actually do something. We know that, especially in Suriname was also delivering police officers to joint police comment in Haiti, but I don't know. I haven't heard if they actually went and if that project is still successful. But what we learned in the news is that those people, those how you call them? I'm looking for the exact word. Those gangs, they have a power over like 70 to 80% of a country. How can that be something that we tolerate?
Yes.
And if a country is like that, nothing is in place, you can't even speak of a democracy. So, as journalists, we can thrive in such a community. And you know what our work is, to bring out the truth. And a lot of those people can't handle the truth. So it is their way, their kind of ruling, their kind of working, that they will try to target you, to silence you. We know we had that in the past in Suriname.
Yes.
So we know how that works with the Bouterse regime. So we know how that works. So at the other side, the journalists there in Haiti are very brave, that even though till the end, till the death threat, they try to bring it out to the world. But as we see, the world is doing nothing with the information.
Yes, sir.
So as a region, I think we have to urge government to do more to rescue our people. Because if we say we're one nation, then it cannot be that one is suffering so much. So as long as that is going on, it's above our paycheck, to put it so. This is thing that needs to be settled by the region. I don't know, with international help. We also learned that a police force from Ghana, I don't know if it's Ghana, but one of those African nations, would assist also in Suriname, in Haiti.
Yes.
To restore there. But it's getting even worse.
Yes.
So
the other thing.
So my message.
Yes. The other thing, Mr. Panka, you recall...
I said I will. Mm-hmm.
You recall that we had discussed the assistance for another of our Asian colleague who was hospitalized in Cuba. And what has happened is that the government has not lived up to its promise to pay the fees for his operation. And,
okay, great.
Yes, and now he is over there without money, can't buy food, and he's suffering. I was wondering if the association, is there anything that the association could do to assist him?
What we can do as because I thought you said that the government assisted in.
No, they promised to do it, but they have not done so.
Oh, they not so far. They not. Okay, but as ACM, what we do best is like bring organizations together, because in this field there are a few relief organizations that assist in helping journalists in distress. And I spoke with someone from this organization. He's based in the region, and he said that he had contact already with the colleague we spoke, Mr. What's his name again?
Golier.
Yes.
Yes.
He spoke with him already, so I don't have an update of that. So, with Goulier, right? Mm-hmm. So I contacted him.
Well, one of the things that you could
assess the situation.
Yeah, if you could follow up with him to find out what is the latest, because when I spoke to Mr. Golier up to last week, our brother was still in Cuba, and he had not received any assistance up to last week. So I would urge you to follow up with your contact to find out what can be done to assist him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, will do.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Yes, that is the state of play as we speak right now. And Mr. Panka, one of the things that in the region, we journalists in the region, we have to find a way to pay tribute to our colleagues in Gaza. As you are aware, over 200 of our colleagues were killed between last October and now.
Yeah.
Yes. And so,
it's very, to hear that like more than two is very unsettling.
Yes.
But there is a ceasefire. Mm-hmm. So I hope that the order can be restored like they said, and that the journalists can do their work with the possibility of being killed.
Yes.
So we I think the world, we have to be thankful to those people that are doing that job, those journalists, because without them, we wouldn't know nothing what is going on.
No, sir. Right.
We only could hear the propaganda machine of the White House and from Mr. Netanyahu's side, and of what Hamas would tell us. But the journalists on the ground let us see the story from the other side.
Yes.
From the perspective of the people.
Yes, sir. Yes. And that is why I say that it is we lift our hats to them, you know, because they are doing a very good job, and those over 200 who have been killed, we want to salute them, and I hope we can find a way to honor our colleagues who are killed over there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, it's the most popular one in the news. But I think worldwide is 2025. It's not a good year for us.
No.
Even in our own region, in Jamaica,
yes,
we had killings. In other countries, a lot of countries, we have threats to journalists. So it's not good, you know. It's not threats. And before you know it, you can lose your life.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So everything very serious. In our own region worldwide, not a good year for us.
No.
And for the people in Gaza, the worst ever.
Yes, certainly. Well, we have to just keep it on the front page, you know, and do whatever we can to assist our colleagues.
Keep telling that story. I think that is their greatest reward. That their suffering doesn't go in vain. And we can help by keep telling the stories.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Keep telling them. Don't forget them, because they're doing it for us, so that we know, so that the world knows what is happening.
Yes. So we have to just keep, as I said, keep it on the front burner. And so, before I go, I'm just reminding you again to do whatever you can to assist our brother in Cuba with his operation. As you will recall, he was one of the journalists who was shot at that press conference. Yes, in Haiti there in December last year. So
on Christmas Eve.
Yes, right. So let us, as I said, do whatever is possible to help him.
Yes. Will do.
Yes, sir.
I'll try my best again.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Panka. And
thank you too for having me.
Yes, sir. That was Mr. Harvey Panka there from the Caribbean Media Association. And as you heard, there we are asking him, reminding him to do whatever he can to assist our colleague, as our colleague, Asian journalist. He is hospitalized in Cuba, and based on the reports that we have, he is due an operation, but the fees are not paid. And as a result of that, he is still in hospital, and we sincerely hope that he will survive, right? But we also hope that the Caribbean Media Association, you know, one of the things that we as journalists, we are not in a position, and we need to do that. We need to find ourselves in a position where we can assist our colleagues in time of need. Because this our brother here, Jocelyn Justin, yes, and he is in need. Yes, he is in need. And the government of Haiti has not lived up to its responsibility to pay the fees for him to be operated on. So we hope that Jocelyn, will survive. And we will, at Rebel Radio, we will continue to follow up with the Caribbean Media Association to see what can be done to assist him. Let us take a break. This is Rebel Radio.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hard Heels.
Oh, Jamaica rise, we're built with fire, passion and vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores.
We're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky.
JPS, powering what matters.
Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio. And, one of the things that we at Rebel Radio we are keeping on the front page is the number of police killings. Yes. And last week, INDICOM, the investigative arm, that body that investigate wrongdoings involving members of the security forces, it submitted a report to Parliament which it outlined, the killings. And as you know, the situation is one that requires some attention. Yes. I have with me now well-known journalist and public commentator, Lloyd Daguilar. And I know Lloyd has been on the front page with these police killings. Hello, Lloyd. How are you today?
I'm good, Desmond. How are you doing? Good to be on your program.
Well, I am supposed to be doing okay, Lloyd. Well,
good.
Yes. Well, as I said, I know that you're very active and you have been outspoken on this matter of police killings. And you would have seen that report from Indicom. And the killings continue. The killings continue. And one of the things that we wonder if the security forces are linking the killings to the reduction in the murder rate. I am wondering if that is on their mind. I don't know. What is your thought so far?
Well, the government and the Prime Minister links the reduction in the murder rate to the police stepping up their operations. He gives them credit for the reduction in murder.
Yes.
But Indicom, on the other hand, is saying that police killings are increasing at an exponential rate over the past 2 or 3 years compared to what happened in the years before that. Yes. And so without the government or the Prime Minister or the Minister of National Security or whoever else it is not addressing that issue of increased police extrajudicial killings or increased police killings and just simply thanking the police for reducing the murder rate could be interpreted as condoning the police carrying out extrajudicial killings to reduce the murder rate. And of course, socially, you can't really make a connection between the two. I mean, that needs to be stated. And if you were to ask them what is the connection, it would be very difficult for any of them to make that connection, even though they do. They are not saying that the murder rate has gone down because people have more jobs because, poverty is on the decrease, etc. And so that the need for people to be having guns and robbing and stealing and so on is becoming less. There's no, they're not beating themselves on the shoulder and saying that it is because we are doing these social programs. So we must take that into consideration. Now, this Indicom report that you mentioned before really requires some serious consideration and some serious reading, because what it is saying is not only that the police killing rate is going up, but it is looking at it in a detailed kind of way in how what they call planned police operations are carried out. In other words, the police come to a house at 3 o'clock in the morning, say they're looking for an individual or they come to search for guns, whatever. But, there's deficiency in these planned operations. First of all, Indicom is saying that there should be search warrants. Right? There's a planned operation, there should be search warrants. And in the vast majority of cases, there are no search warrants. And, we have a constitutional right to your property, etc. No matter who you are, you have a constitutional right to your property that nobody has a right to just come into your property and seize it or steal it or enter it or however they wish. So this is a very important point on the part of Indicom where this is concerned. Sometimes the police just claim them to the door open and they go inside there and the next thing the person take out them gun and shoot at them, etc. But Indicom is also going into the details of what happens when the police go inside these places. In a lot of cases they said the person took out a gun and shot at them, right? But they said they're not protecting or taking custody of the weapons in a kind of professional kind of way. It is not done. The policeman put it in his pocket and so on and so forth. And again, they're saying that something is wrong with that. If you seize a weapon, it must be professionally handled, etc., etc. And the other issue is, I don't know, I didn't see a detailed report about it, but where these guns come from, you know? Yes. And I have heard, even amongst police people that I know, have told me that the police have a supply of weapons, illegal weapons that they have accumulated over a period of time, and if it is not a proper operation, they have guns that they can say, well, this is the gun that the person had, and and so on. This is the one that we seize. So that also becomes a very serious issue as to whether the person had a gun, or is the police, supplying the gun, and so on and so forth. That is a very, very big issue that needs to be, considered. Another thing that needs to be considered also is that Indicom is also saying that in these planned operations, a lot of times the place where they went, the person that they identify as a suspect or criminal or whatever, a lot of times those persons report to police stations on a regular basis. Yes. They're on bail, and they're supposed to report to the police station every day or every other day, whatever. And so the Indicom is also saying that since it's a planned operation and you want to interdict this person for whatever reason, then simply wait until the person come back to the police station and then you can arrest him. Why do you have to go to the home of the person when this individual is constantly reporting to the police station, etc., etc.? So those are some very important points that Indicom has made, and to expose what they're calling police planned operations that are very, very deficient. And of course, another big issue is that the policemen who go out on these planned operations do not wear body cameras. They do not wear body cameras, and the police, despite their buying more body cameras, they have a lot of body cameras. And so why is it that body cameras are not being worn when they go out on these operations? And I believe that the police commissioner, beginning at the level of the police commissioner, must be held accountable for that. Because if it's a planned operation, then there should be body-worn cameras. And there, of course, we all know that this is a big issue where these operations are concerned. And also, in terms of planned operations, the JCF, the Jamaica Constabulary Force rules, also says that planned operations should be accompanied by a senior officer. Yeah. And they are saying that in a lot of cases, there's no appropriate senior officer that is part of this operation. So Indicom is really making some very, very important points that need to be addressed. Very, very important point. And let me just say another point here, which is that if Indicom is coming up with these facts and analysis and so on, and they are taking this information to the government, to the Minister of National Security, right up the top to the Prime Minister, and we don't hear anything coming from them, say, well, boy, we have to do something about it, or, thank you, Indicom, for this report, then it means that as many human rights organizations, international, local, even the U.S. State Department, is that police extrajudicial killings is a policy of state, is a policy of the state. In other words, it is not a big issue for the senior commanders politically and within the JCF that all these issues arise and they do nothing about it. It does not become an issue. And let me say one other point too, is that a couple of years ago, the Prime Minister, speaking, I think it was a church event, and sitting beside him was the opposition leader of the opposition. Well, I don't remember if he was the leader of the opposition, but I'm talking about Peter Phillips. And he once was a Minister of National Security. He once was a brief period, the leader of the party. And the Prime Minister said that from government to government, they have been using killing people as a method of fighting crime. And he said that he wasn't going to go along with that. Right? He wasn't going to go along with that. Of course, nothing has changed. But I say that both of them, the leader of the opposition was there too, and he didn't challenge the Prime Minister and say, well, how dare you say that, it has been a policy from government to government. He was silent. And the Prime Minister has not made this an issue since he said that. And we know that the Minister of National Security, he said after a police killing some time ago, and there were concerns that when you shoot, don't call the ambulance. I mean, what kind of indication is that given? Yep. And the Prime Minister also said something like, send them to their maker. Right, send them to their maker. And we know that way back when, under Hugh Shearer, government of the early 70s, 60s, he said, don't measure the distance between you and a criminal. Shoot first and ask questions later. So this thing has been going on for a long time now in Jamaica, and we need to do something about it.
I just want to read 2 paragraphs from the report, and the title under the recovered weapons. And Indicom is saying, of the 108 PPOs, that is planned police operations, in this study, a firearm was reported as allegedly being recovered by the JCF at the scene in 99 of those incidents. In only 9 of the cases was no gun reported as recovered from the scene. 2 incidents involved the deceased allegedly attempting to take the officer's firearm, and 7 involved possession of a weapon other than a firearm. In 50 of the 108 incidents, 46%, the weapon was reported as not being fired, albeit it was reported as being either seen, attempted to be drawn, or pointed at the officers. In the 58 cases where it was reported that a man fired a gun at officers, mostly within the confines of small rooms, no officer in this study was fatally wounded in such close-range encounters. However, 2 officers in separate incidents were reported as being shot and injured, one of whom was unfortunately injured by an officer's weapon. So what Indicom is saying here is that the police have, in 108 planned operations, the police reported that they recover guns 99 times. But in all the instances where the police reported that there were gun battles between them and the deceased are in small locations, and no police, no member of the security forces were shot. None. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, why I raise this point is what you said earlier about allegations that the police have access to guns, and it is likely that they are planting guns on these deceased persons. That is a possibility, right?
Well, let me just say this anecdotally, Desmond. I have had a policeman that I have interviewed, and I won't call no names or anything, but I have him on a video, right? I have him on a video that I did. And he told me, he said, you know, these are planned operations to kill. And he didn't, you know, hedge in just telling me bluntly and saying it bluntly and, you know, describing that they have a storehouse of weapons which they have recovered and so on. And the points that you are making are very relevant. One of them also, which Indicom mentioned, is that in a lot of cases, family members or friends or whatever will tell you, this man never have no gun. He never have no gun at all. Yeah. And so where did the gun come from? No, it would be good now for Indicom, once they have access to these guns, and I'm assuming that they have access to these guns, is to really do a kind of forensic, you know, testing of the gun to find out where the gun really came from, etc., etc. That would be a very important kind of thing to examine as to, you know, if the gun was ever attributed to somebody else a long time ago or whatever, or, you know, there was a killing before the police recovered that gun and they kept the gun, and so now they have access to it and they can, you know, plant it on the person that they have killed. Mm-hmm. So that is a very, very important issue that needs to be probed, deeply probed, the question of the guns. Mm-hmm. Very, very important issue that needs to be probed.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And we have to wonder also, Lloydie, if the government is using this police killing as a crime fighting strategy. Because
it is not addressing it at all. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Because if they are doing that, then this is something that, you know, we can't allow that to happen, right?
No, we cannot allow that to happen at all.
Yes.
You know, I don't know if anybody remember Brayton, right? The Brayton 7 in I think it was in St. Catherine, yes, where they went there. They were searching for somebody that they accused them of having shot at police before, and they went there, and 7 young men inside the house were killed. Yes. And the police claimed that there was a shootout, but when the forensic, you know, examination was done, the young men were all shot in their heads, and, you know, several shots and so on. And people said the police went into the house and, you know, and carried out the execution. And I don't know if you, I won't call any names, but a famous senior superintendent, Renato, we'll leave it like that. But he was part of that operation at that time as well. And they went to court and they were able to just get the matter dismissed. And, Indicom is also, if you look at the statistics of Indicom, they are admitting that there is a challenge or deficiency in them getting the required evidence to be able to bring charges against these policemen. And let us be frank, the charging rate is very low, right? Is very low, even though Indicom is very skeptical about the reports that the police give about these operations. They are admitting that they have challenges also in finding the relevant information that is needed in order to bring charges against the police. And so when you look at the statistics that they have provided, it's the charging rate is very low. And then now, when they go before the courts now, the conviction rate is also very low as well. So this is a very big issue, and maybe Indicom might need to give us more details about some of these things. And then, let's we know that Jamaica is a corrupt country, but and there before it goes before the court, it has to go before the Director of Public Prosecutions. Okay, and I'm not going to make any explicit statement, but if the system is set up to protect the police because it's a policy of state, then there might also be an issue there where charging the police are concerned. So if there's little gray areas in the evidence that has been provided, then the Director of Public Prosecution has the power to say, well, no, we're not going to charge. And so therefore, when the police go out on an operation, or when the police go there and, decide, say, boy, let me go shoot first and ask questions later, they are quite confident that overall they will be protected. They will be protected by the senior commanders, and they know that Indicom is going to have certain challenges in order to coming up with the contrary evidence to what it is that they're saying. And then when they go before the courts, they will also, stand a very good chance of being exonerated. So when people say that police extrajudicial killings is a policy of state, we have all the evidence to prove it, and it's not just that you're cussing out the government or whatever it is. It's there. It's there. And if it is a policy of state, then I believe that the police commissioner, the Minister of National Security, and the Prime Minister have to be held accountable as to why they have not done anything and really step forward and say, listen, this thing can't continue at all. You know what I mean? Something has to be done. They have to be held accountable.
The other thing that we observe, Lady, and which I know that we don't want, the Indicom is saying that 47 police officers have been charged with criminal offences during the period January 1, 24 to September 30, 25. Of that number, 13 have been charged with murder, and the greater majority relate to assault allegations. Now, what we don't want our police force, where so many members of our police force are charged with criminal offense. That we don't want that. It therefore means that too many members of the force are not obeying the rules.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Too many members are not. And the senior commanders are the ones that need to be held accountable as to why they are not obeying the rules. Because as a senior officer, it is your responsibility to make sure that you send a clear message to the rank and file of the police force that they must obey the rules. Because when you don't obey the rules, it reflects badly on us. It's just like if you're working in a company and the workers are producing bad products, whatever the product is, and you say they're manufacturing cars, and the cars go there and become deficient. The manager may not be working online with manufacturing the car, but when the car crash or whatever, it is the manager or the owner that is going to be held accountable for deficiency in the cars. Yes. So therefore, he has a duty, or they have a duty, to make sure that the workers who are producing the product doing a good job, so that when it goes there, there is no problem. And so therefore, I think that standard needs to be applied in terms of how the police force and how the government, the appropriate bodies that manage the force, are held accountable. Those principles have to be applied.
Certainly.
I think we have to look at that.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. Well, one of the things, Lloyd, that we have to keep, and we urge citizens to be on the alert. We have to keep our eyes open and keep pushing for changes to be made on how the police are conducting these operations. We cannot accept that the police is using fatal killings as a crime fighting strategy. No, we can't accept that. And we have to do what...
No, we can't.
No, right? And we as we said, we have to keep on pushing and hope citizens to be on the alert so that...
Absolutely.
Yes, so that they can protect themselves. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we have exhausted the time for today, Lydie.
Okay.
But let me assure you that we are going to continue this discussion, because this is a very important subject. So
it's absolutely necessary, Desmond. Absolutely necessary to continue this discussion.
Yes. So thank you very much for your time today, and let us continue.
Yes, thank you very much, Desmond, and all the best to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. It was journalist and public commentator Lloyd Dagelar there, and as I indicated, we have to continue talking about this matter. Let us take a break. This is Rebel Radio.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hard Hills.
Oh, Jamaica passion and vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores,
we're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky.
JPS, powering what matters.
Welcome back to Rebel Radio. Yes, and as you know, that today the President Trump and some other leaders in the Middle East, they met in Egypt where they signed off on that peace plan in Gaza. Yes. And as you know, the first phase of the plan took effect, and the situation is supposed to be that, let us say the war is over. That's what they are saying. I have with me now one of our leaders in the Caribbean, Gerald Pereira. Yes, and he's a liberation theologist, you know, and somebody who has been on the forefront fighting for the rights of the Palestinian people. Gerald, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Always a pleasure to be on your program.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So,
yeah.
So, the news is saying that the war is over in Gaza, and one of the things that I know you and the world, thousands of people in the world, are happy to know that the genocide, the bombings, the killings has stopped. What are your thoughts so far?
Yes, my brother. Well, first of all, I am glad there is that this has come. What was taking place? The genocide in Gaza. That right now, I see it as a ceasefire. I don't think the war has come to an end.
Yes.
I am happy for the Palestinian people. You know, I am not one who thousands of miles away from Gaza and saying that they should fight and fight. No, I'm very realistic because we are dealing with a beast. This has no ability to reason. So I am happy for the Palestinian people, and I would like to see a permanent peace. However, from my study of history, I know that the Anglo-Saxon nations, I know that you unite the Anglo-Saxon nations, Britain, France, Germany, and all of these nations that engaged in colonial genocide, in the slaughter, in genocide against indigenous peoples of the Americas and Africa, and who supported the genocide in Gaza, I do not believe them. I don't think they're interested in a lasting peace. I do not think so. However, I support the Palestinian resistance in trying to bring an end to this genocide. The meeting at Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, we saw, oh God, you had all the Western leaders. I think the leaders from, you had about 20 some countries from Europe, the Middle East, right? But of course, Netanyahu was absent, right? You had the president of Egypt, Fattah al-Sisi, Erdogan from Turkey was there, as well as the emails the leaders of the Gulf states of the United Arab Emirates and Qatar. We've had, Starmer, Prime Minister of the UK, was there.
Yes.
But with this signing on, when you look at it, it's unbelievable that those who initiated genocide are warmongers are talking about peace after they have slaughtered over 68,000 Palestinians. That is the official count, but many more are dead. We're not taking into account those buried under the rubble when we look for the bodies and so. And now they are parading as agents of peace. And this is what Orwell was addressing in his book 1984. That ignorance is strength and peace is war is peace and slavery is freedom. We've seen it. These Trump is a deceiver. And I believe that now that the hostages have been released, and they're still, Hamas is handing over the bodies of the dead hostages and so on. Hamas, but is genuinely committed to, Hamas is not, the resistance isn't obsessed with violence for violence sake, because their religion and their ideology prohibits that. But the people who are obsessed with violence and worship it is the Anglo-Saxon nations and Israel. So I believe that, I don't believe that the war has come to an end. I believe right now there's a ceasefire. I do not trust Netanyahu. I do not trust Trump, especially with this so-called International Peace Board. And this peace board, they want to exclude, this peace board is, they committed to excluding Hamas, not only Hamas, because Hamas consulted with 5 other liberation organizations, part of the Palestinian Rejectionist Front, or the Alliance of Palestinian Forces. So they like to situate this thing as an Israel-Hamas conflict. That is not so. Hamas consulted with Palestinian Islamic Jihad, which is the second largest armed Palestinian group, and they consult with other organizations such as the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, the Democratic Front, the Palestinian Resistance Committees. So it is not just Hamas deciding. There's 6 organizations, 5 including Hamas. And Hamas did not attend the signing because Hamas refused to be part of this deception. But they're going along, they want the peace, but they're not prepared to sign off to something that is so lopsided and twisted. You want an authority, a governing body with the exclusion of Hamas.
Yes.
It cannot happen. And it's not just Hamas you're excluding 5 other liberation organizations. And if you add up the support of this, is the entire Palestinian population. These are 6 strong organizations that after 2 years of bombing and your genocide, bombing, indiscriminate bombing, left destroying hospitals, schools and everything, you still have not been able to obliterate Hamas, because Hamas and the other 5 liberation organizations are of the people, and Israel knows this. This is why they indiscriminate and just kill people, bomb hospitals, starve people. They believe that if you wipe out the only way to destroy the resistance, including Hamas, is to exterminate the Palestinian people. And that is what their objective.
You know something,
the genocide.
You know something that I am watching closely. Okay.
Yes.
Who is going to be responsible for rebuilding Hamas? Not Hamas, I mean Gaza.
Gaza.
No, yeah. Look, when you look at Gaza before and look at what it is now, the place has been converted into a rub, like it is just concrete rubble. Now,
that's right.
What is going to happen? Who is going to build back the homes, build back the infrastructure, water supplies, electricity, roads, homes? What is going to be done? That is something.
Well, you know.
Yes, sir.
Brother, go on. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you are correct. All the hospitals have been destroyed, every building flattened, the universities, everything destroyed. And what is, you know, the thing about it is, I'll show you how if it's arrogant the Western powers are. Now, Trump and Netanyahu carried out this genocide with the full backing of West European countries. But you know what? They are going to put the pressure on Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states of Qatar and the United Arab Emirates to pay for the reconstruction, the rebuilding of Gaza. Why should these countries pay for the reconstruction when they did not directly contribute, although they directly did, to the destruction of Gaza? You know, I mean, look at Germany. Germany paid reparations to the Jews. They pay reparation to the Jews.
Yes.
We as Africans are still waiting for an official, as Africans, descendants of captured and enslaved Africans. We are still waiting for the West European nations, including Britain and the United States, to issue an official apology for slavery and then address the issue of reparations.
Yes.
But they're not doing that. So we are fighting for reparations to correct this historical injustice that was done and the genocide that was initiated on our ancestors. So when we look at these people, we understand their track record, that they're hypocrites and they cannot be trusted. So Israel is not going to pay for its crimes in any way. No one can rein in Israel or Netanyahu before the International Criminal Court. And the Americans are good at dragging people before. They like to cite people for crimes so that they could be taken before the ICC, but they are not the signatory to the International Criminal Court. America is above law. America has no respect for international law, just like Israel. These are two rogue states that can do what the hell they like and get away with it. But they've only been able to get away with it because many have allowed them to.
Yes.
If the Arab nations, the leaders in the Arab countries, have stood firmly together and break ties completely with Israel, including Turkey, which is not an Arab country. Erdogan is a double dealer. He plays games. He stands up and at the UN and other international forums and condemn Israel and talk. But behind the scenes, they do trade. They have trade and economic ties and intelligence cooperation with Israel. So this is what we're dealing with, and that is why we, African freedom fighters like us, who in the tradition of the ANC and the African National Congress, Nelson Mandela's organization in South Africa, the Pan-Africanist Congress, Mugabe's Zapun, all of these African freedom fighters and African revolutionaries, we link the struggle, our struggle, with the struggle of our Palestinian brothers and sisters. Kwame Nkrumah, Jamal Abdel Nasser, Modibo Keita, Ahmed Sekou Toure, and Kwame Toure, the late Stokely, formerly Stokely Carmichael, they all were consistent and clear in this. So, there, you know, I do not trust. I would like to see a peace, but the peace I want to see is a meaningful peace, a peace based on justice, and a return that the Palestinian people must return to their land.
Yes, sir.
Trump and Netanyahu's peace is a piece of the graveyard. That is not the peace we want.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And we arising out of this deal, we want some clear understanding, some clear plans to implement the two-state resolution. We want that to be fast forward.
Yeah. Well, I know what you're talking about, brother. I just want to make quickly 2 points. One, you cannot preach or speak about peace in one part of the world, while in another part, you're preparing for war. Trump wants to talk about peace in the Middle East, but is building up his military, his forces, for what we can see, and I hope it don't happen, is an assault on Venezuela, military assault on Venezuela. Yes. So we have to be careful. We're dealing with this is the demon, how deceptive they are. The second thing is, I do not believe that the two-state solution is possible. If you look at it, and many Palestinian freedom fighters and organizations understood this many moons ago, Israel was never committed to a two-state solution, never. They played along, they played the Palestinian people to placate them. They did this because now, you see, there's two faces of Zionism, soft face, and you have the more aggressive and naked face of Zionism, like Netanyahu. And now it's all coming out. You know, it's all coming out. You know the Caribbean saying, mouth open, story jump out. You know that Caribbean state? Yes. Yeah. You listen to the Israeli minister. They said, if the Palestinians want a state, we can't give them another state. They already have 2 states already, 3 states. They have the West Bank, they have Gaza, and Jordan, because Jordan has a large Palestinian population. So the Israelis were never, the Zionists were never committed to a 2-state solution. And my position, both from if you're looking at historical injustice and from a moral perspective, then I agreed with people like Muammar Gaddafi, a one-state solution that will bring together all with equal rights and justice for all in one state, in a democratic state with all, including Muslim, Jews, Christians. One state. Because remember, when we were fighting the apartheid regime in South Africa, there were some apartheid sections of the apartheid forces who wanted part of South Africa, right? And that was out. South Africa is, you can't come into another people's land and then steal it and want them to share that land with you. I can't come into your house, right, with 6 bedrooms and steal 3 and tell you can live in the other 3 and I'll occupy. It don't work like that. Mm-hmm. So in the same way that the people of the African people of South Tanzania were able to reclaim their land, and they're still in the process of completing that because a lot of land is still in the hands of the Boers. It's the same should be applied to to have a lasting peace in the Middle East. A one-state solution. Mm-hmm. A democratic state that bring together all forces, as I said, equal rights and justice for all.
Yes. Well, let us see what is going to happen. I have had no reports, but I know that they are supposed to be, they have opened up the place so that aid can reach the Palestinian people, food, water, and medicine. I hope that.
Yes, and we are happy about that. We're happy about that. That's right, brother.
I hope that is going through.
We're happy.
Yes. And as I said, let us hope that, the ceasefire will continue. And the killings will stop.
And it will hold.
Yes.
That's right.
We want the killings.
I just want to say this before I...
Yes.
Yes, sorry, brother. I just want to say this before I go, brother.
Yes.
when you look at history, I have arrived at the conclusion a very long time ago that there's a specificity to the Anglo-Saxon races. These people like war.
Yes.
Now, if you look, this is one of the things that our people never understood. We fought for a time. You know what that's saying? A time for war, a time for peace, a time to plant, and a time to sow.
Yes.
Right? If you understand that was applicable because the Bible is a book about African people. Let's be clear on that. So we understood that. The Zulus understood that. But you know why the Boers and the British were able to defeat the Zulus? Because the Zulus fought, they defeated them, and they allowed them safe passage out. They didn't wipe them out, they didn't slaughter them. But they went, they regrouped, and they came back. These people love endless wars. You had 100 years war in Europe. You had the 35 years war in Europe. You had many wars. You had this so-called World War I and II, which were European tribal wars, and then they roped us in.
Yes.
Made war, and everywhere they went, they made war. So you were dealing with a people whose nature, as Elijah Muhammad said, whose nature, war is in the DNA. Violence is built into the DNA. This is what we're doing, we're dealing with. And Trump is a personification of all that I have pointed out to you today.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, brother, let us keep talking about these issues because, as we say, they affect the lives of thousands of people. And we hope that the bombings will stop and life will be returned to some normality. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time today.
Yeah. And thank you too, brother, for keeping these issues, highlighting these issues and touching on it. And as I think I did mention to you, the work you're doing is sacred work.
Yes, sir. Okay.
It is sacred work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes. That was Gerald Pereira there, our theologian, liberation theologian there, and we are talking about the peace in Gaza. Yes. As I said, let us hope that we can have some peace there. And let us take a break. This is Rebel Radio.
Tries come to make me strong. I've learned to trust in God through it all. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His words. I've been to lots of places, seen so many faces. There were times I felt so all alone, but in my lonely hours, those special hours, Jesus let me know that I am His own. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His words. I thank God for the mountains, thank Him for the valleys, thank Him for the storms He brought me through. 'Cause if I didn't have problems, I wouldn't know that God could solve them. I wouldn't know what faith in God could do. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff that comfort me. Though the wicked will come upon me to eat up my flesh, they will stumble and fall. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to put my trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to put my trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word. Trust in Jesus. Learn to trust in God. Through it all. Lord have mercy.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring and more. At Tools, hardware and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hard Hills.
Oh, Jamaica eyes were built with fire, passion and vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores.
We're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky.
JPS, powering what matters.
Father God, well, Lord, your love has made me strong, and for that, I'm all yours. Well, Lord of mercy, oh God, I'll never find the words, Lord, to tell you how I feel, dear God. Mere words could not explain. Yeah, gracious Lord, you held my life within your hand, created everything I had, taught me how to live again. Only you care when I needed a friend, making my promise. Oh, this song is for you, filled with gratitude and love. Oh Lord, I thank you. You make me feel brand new. For blessing me, I adore you. Almighty God, I love you. I sing this song for you. Father God, I adore you. Yeah. My Lord, whenever I was insecure, you build me up and made me sure. You gave my sense of pride back to me. Only you care when I needed a friend, making my
Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio, and you know it's workers' time. This is where we spend time looking at what is happening at the workplace. And I have with me this evening the president of the Jamaica Trade Union, the Jamaican Confederation of Trade Unions, St. Patrice Ennis. Good afternoon, Mr. Ennis.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yes, sir. So, based on reports, I know that the government and the unions met this week, or was it last week? Anyway, what is the latest, sir?
Well, there was a meeting on Friday last.
Yes.
Convened by the Ministry of Finance and the auspices of the minister, who sent out the various invitation, inviting union leaders and delegates to the conference center. Myself wasn't present, but there were members from the Confederation as well as delegates who were there.
Right.
And essentially, as I understand it, there were reports or submissions made by an economist, development economist, and also by the chairman of the Fiscal Commission. And essentially, what was being proposed as was that there be wage cap, that the status of the economy or the tax revenues comprise wages, and what is projected, the projected amount in the next 2 years or so. Currently, as I understand it, we are at about 39%, and it's expected to go up to 40% by the year 2027 or 2028.
What is that? What is expected to? Oh, tax revenues. Okay, yes.
Wages in terms of our tax revenues, right? So by painting that picture, they are saying that they can't pay any more than the 2%, and basically they have maxed out. That's what I gather, and we are saying that a wage cap, as proposed by the representative from the Fiscal Commission and as propagated by some others, Keith Duncan and others within the business community and so on, that there be a wage cap be revisited. The minister has pronounced on that matter, and there seemed to be some dissonance between what the Minister of Finance, Philip Williams, have publicly stated, not only in her budget presentation in March, but also on several occasions subsequently, that the government has moved away from a wage cap, and that is not something being considered. Mm-hmm. She also went on to say that the debt to GDP ratio, as well as the government macroeconomic policy, are sufficient guidelines, meaning it's looking at its interest rates and so on, are sufficient guardrails to keep the economy in check and to not bloat, not do damage to our economy. So the fact that these persons who are advising the government who see the public pronouncement have been repeating this wage cap mantra or slogan, I don't know what to call it, while the minister has stated several times what the government's position is. I am yet to hear her recoil or have, said something that is averse to that position today. So I do not understand why this is being propagated over and over. I don't know what the agenda is. I believe we are better focused on seeing how we can grow the economy, deciding what kind of public sector we need to have, because you can't be hiring, you can't be saying that you're short of certain skill set, and at the same time saying you are going to cut the wage bill. Those two don't go hand in hand. So those are some of the immediate things that come to mind. What is the status of the current situation? We are yet to resume the negotiation. I believe the government has convened that meeting to perhaps prepare persons for the position that they want to take. I don't know, but I believe that a better place to have presented those arguments or presented their position is around the negotiator table, because we're not going to do this in a public forum.
Yes, but for what you're saying, based on last week's meeting, is that those who spoke indicated that they are in support of the 2% which the government put on the table. Is that what you are saying, that it was proposed?
Well, that was coming from a wage cap would suggest that a wage restraint. The fact of the matter is that we have been down this road before. We have been under wage restraint, wage guideline, the various nomenclature has been used to somehow restrain wages over the years. We have found that was not that was deleterious to having a healthy public sector, in the sense that we were not retaining people with the skill set, that rare skill set, or we did not attract those persons. And if we had them, we had a high attrition rate amongst them. So that is why we embarked on revisiting the entire compensation system. And so to have done that, where we have in some quarters have attracted who we want to attract and seem to be rewarding persons with the specialized skill set, you know, whether it is in the SC, wherever you might find it. Now we're saying to go back to that position where we are going to have a public sector that is bereft of the talent that we demand and we require. I think it's you know, the particular saying, you know, to do the same thing over and over when it's not working, it suggests something.
Yes. Well, let us see how that is going to work out. I have with me Miss Banbury, the president of the Midwives Association. Banbury Edwards with me. Good evening, Madam President. Hello?
Good evening.
Oh, good evening. Yes.
Good evening to you and good evening to you.
Yes. Yes. So, what are some of the issues affecting your members?
I joined late, but I heard your other panelists making mention of some of the issues, and I definitely agree with her. You know, since the last compensation, the Jamaica midwives are still at a loss. We're still owed some money, and to date they are not paid. You know, and so we're now looking at going back to the table for a new period of negotiation, and we are hoping that at least, you know, what we are owed would be paid up, and so when we go to the table, we can go there, you know, with new ideas and with an open mind. But to be honest, the fact that we're owed some monies, then, you know, my members, they are really at a loss at this time.
So, what was the last word on the payment of that money? What is holding up the payment? What the government says?
I am at a loss, because as far as the ministry is saying, that the Ministry of Finance, you know, they have already issued whatever we were to be paid. So I don't know if it's at the region's level, because, you know, we have 4 regions. So I don't know if that's the level where we're having the issue. But today we're still, you know, waiting for this to be sorted out.
Wow. Well, and so they have not give you any dates or anything like that?
No, I sent letters out to all the regions as the president, and yes, a few of them respond to say they are in receipt of my letter, but in terms of giving me a directive to say when payments will be made and all of that, nothing.
Yes. I can.
As it is now, my members are very restive, because the new session here, you know, begins in April, and if the past negotiation is not fully wrapped up, then what are we going to go in to discuss?
Yes. No. It doesn't sound healthy there at all. Yes. What about manpower shortage and all that? Working conditions, how are those now?
We are still, of course, resources. We're always at a short where that is concerned. But as you know, we in the health facilities, we normally try to do what we have, and so we definitely try to, use what we have to facilitate our clients. But in terms of manpower, we are woefully short. For the past 1 to 3 years, we had a lot of midwives who seen it fit to migrate to greener pasture. And we are still having maybe not in droves as the past 3 years, but every now and then you might hear, oh, this one gone or this one gone. So we're still having, shortage where that is concerned.
Yes. Well,
so as a result of that, the as we remain, we are working. Some of us are burnt out and stressed and all of that. But we, as midwives, we recognize that we play a vital part in terms of maternal and child health, and so we continue to do our best despite the challenges.
Yes. Miss Edwards, something I must ask you. I don't know what has happened to that nurse. You remember that nurse there who was beaten up on the road?
Yes. She's back at work.
Yes.
She's back at work and she's doing well. But in terms of the case, I'm not a favor with what is happening there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So she's from the other association, so you'd probably have to reach out to them to hear what's happening.
But she's back at work now, right?
She's back at work. Yes, she is.
Okay, all right. Well, let us keep on, following up these issues. You, Mr. I know that but let me Mr. Hennis, just educate me here. The nurses, they would be represented by the Nurses Association, and they wouldn't be part of the Confederation. The Nurses Association is not part of the Confederation, right, Mr. Ennis?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, all right. But the other thing I must ask you now, Mr. Ennis, is that, the government, well, let me put it this way. The trade unions are not accepting a 2% increase.
Well, we have a claim out there, and that is the government response.
Yeah.
We have no mandate to accept any 2% or anything like that.
Yes.
The government initially, as you know, was proposing 0% for the first year.
Yes.
And that was rejected. And and then they came up with the 2% because they were conflating paying the retroactive, restoring and paying the retroactive increment as they did on our salary, which was really nonsensical because the increment was signed off in September of last year by Nigel Clark, the minister there. Mm-hmm. The unions began serving their claims in November of last year. And so that 7.5%, that agreement could not be in response to a claim that was made in November. So it was really a nonsensical argument and a total waste of time. The dates just don't add up. But apart from that, we are no instructions to countenance this 2%.
Yes.
We, however, would like to have audience with the government as soon as possible to hear what is the true state of the economy, because we were under the impression that according to the fiscal policy paper, that there were projections in the fiscal policy paper for increases to wages of at least 6% in 2026 and in 2027.
Yes.
So we want to know what has happened to that projection. This is something that was signed off on by the minister herself. It's true and accurate and complete. Those were the words used in the fiscal policy paper to describe what the government had projected in terms of allocating public sector workers for wages. So we would like to know what has changed, if there is a change, and for those discussions to take place around the table, and what is the government offering, because as you know, there are many other items that come in a negotiation. Wage is one item. It is a universal item, but there are other items. And so all of those will have to be treated as a package as we embark on this process.
Yeah. Earlier on you mentioned something about what was said at last week's meeting. You said something about tax collection. I don't think I grasp what was the relationship between tax collection and the wages. What?
Because the wages, the government revenues is largely through the source of revenues largely through taxation. That's how it derives its funding.
Yes.
And so the position is that the wage bill makes up about 39% of the current tax revenues. And it is projected to be at about 48-49%, within the next 2 years or so. Mm-hmm. And that, they were saying, is not sustainable.
Okay. Well, I wonder if that was taken into consideration when for example, the government minister's wage bill. The wage bill of the new government is close to $700 million per annum. So I wonder if that was taken into consideration when those decisions were made. Because it's the same tax dollars have to pay them.
That is indeed so. And when you're talking to public sector workers who largely, are having difficulty now, they cannot reasonably comprehend why that is being done. And at the same time, not only that you have increased the wage bill there, but also the fact is that the government is saying that it needs more workers in particularly in the health sector. Mm-hmm. As many of the health professionals will tell you that they need more. They need more workers in the myriad sectors that they have. also the same is true of the police. I mean, per capita, we are one of the lowest in terms of our police per citizen. So in the Caribbean, that is. So there is indeed a need for more workers, depending on the profession, depending on the service. So, and the government has stated so. And in not too, a few months ago, the health sector was on a drive to recruit more persons within its fraternity. And so you can't be saying at the same time that you want to reduce the wage bill, reduce the public sector, and at the same time you're hiring more. You need to decide what is it you want the public sector to do, what is it you don't want to do, what is it you want the public sector, what kind of service you want the government to offer and pay for, and what services you want it to offer and not pay for. So these are questions that you need to have in terms of an approach as to what kind of government, and then you cost it, and then you pay them accordingly. But if you believe that workers in this global economy are going to just sit down and take peanuts and not be able to support their families and they are well trained and have their qualification and stay here and make that sacrifice, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen again. I don't think public sector workers is going to make no major sacrifice for anybody, only to turn around and say, okay, when you have the GDP ratio where it is, you want to cut it. You want to have established wage freeze. So what all of that sacrifice for? I don't think that's going to work again.
Okay. I want to ask both of you to just hold it for me. We are going to take a break. This is Rebel Radio. We're on workers' time. Let's take a break.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with your super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hard Years.
Oh, Jamaica eyes were built with fire, passion and vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores,
we're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky.
JPS, powering what matters.
Yes, welcome back to Rebel Radio. We're on workers' time. Yes. So, Miss Edwards, are there any other issue that you want to shine some light on?
No, not right now. I think it's just fact that my members really, want to be paid.
Yes.
The money that we are owed. And, looking forward that at least this month, because based on the letters that we sent out, if we're not paid this month, then you might be hearing, something else from us. But we will have to take a stand. I mean, this is going on for far too long.
Okay. All right.
And I think we have exhausted all the other avenues. And so we're waiting to see what will happen come this pay month.
Yes.
And if things are not in our liking, then we'll definitely have to take a stand.
Okay. Mr. Hennis, what is your final word, please?
Well, we await the government with respect to reconvening the negotiation.
Yes.
I believe what they did on Friday was to perhaps set the stage and the tone of what they would like those discussions to be like. However, we would not, that's not how we would like things to be done. We would like whatever they have to say and whatever the current state of our economy is, that they would present that to us around the table, and then some determination be made there.
Okay.
But it won't be solved or resolved that way.
All right. All right.
Basically, that is.
Okay. I want to thank both of you very much for your time, and this is where we keep an eye on what is happening at the workplace. So we will talk again. Thanks very much.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much, Ms. Edwards.
Thank you for having us.
Okay.
A good evening.
That was St. Patrick Ennis, there, the president of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, and Ms. Banbury Edwards, president of the Midwives Association. Yes, and you heard from them what is happening at the workplace, as far as the negotiations with the public sector is concerned. Well, they are setting up, waiting for another meeting. We are going to go over to Guyana now to talk with trade unionist Coretta McDonald of the Guyanese Teachers Union. Yes. Good afternoon, Miss McDonald.
Good afternoon to you, my dear.
Yes, very good afternoon. So, elections are over. What is happening as far as the workers are concerned? What is happening to the teachers?
Well, workers generally are in limbo.
Okay.
Because elections are over, but yet there has been no convening of parliament. September 1st was election. By the 3rd, everybody knew what was happening. The Saturday, the president was sworn in, and then the Saturday, well, 1 week after, the president and his ministers were sworn in. But up to now, today is the 13th of October. Parliament has not yet been convened. And so workers are actually still in limbo because there are several teachers, for example, whose contracts have not been renewed. I am not sure what is happening at the level of the Teaching Service Commission and at the level of the Ministry of Education. And so while the delay is happening all over, our children are the ones who are suffering at this time.
Yes, so the schools are in session though, right?
Schools are in session. Well, not every school. Some schools, most of the schools are in session. We've had fires at some of the schools. Some schools are still under renovation. So there's a shift system where there's been a fire. It's just one class, 2 classes where they're having physical sessions. The others are working with worksheets, and they're probably doing online teaching.
Okay. Yes. And so, do you know the reasons why the Parliament, that means the members of Parliament have not been sworn in? Why Parliament has not been convened?
Absolutely. The members of Parliament have not yet been sworn in. I can't give you an exact reason why the president has not yet convened the parliament. But what I can say is that within the Constitution, there is that provision there where you can have at least up to 4 months before Parliament could be convened. But one would want to think that in the interest of moving this nation forward and getting on with the people's business, that a president would want to very quickly convene Parliament. I don't know. Maybe there are other moves ahead or in the play, and so we have not yet had the convening of the Parliament. What I know too is that the new leader of the opposition, Azruddin Mohammed, he and his father, they have been sanctioned by the U.S. government for money laundering and drugs, gold smuggling and that kind of thing. Recently, we saw the U.S. issuing an indictment on both of them, where they have had 11 counts have been placed before them. So I don't know if maybe that is one of the reasons why the president is delaying the convening of Parliament. But even if the US would have indicted the young man who is supposed to be the new opposition leader, that should not interfere with what we have to do. We do, again, what we have to do for the benefit of our people. And the U.S. government, they have got to do what they have to do when they recognize their persons who go against the rule of law. And if it's a case where that young man is and his father, they have to be extradited, then so be it. When we get to that bridge, we will cross it then. But there are lots and lots of speculations going around, but I can't safely say or pinpoint a particular reason why the president has not yet convened the Parliament.
Okay. Yes. Well, one of the things that my viewers and listeners will observe that in Guyana, this last election has created some shifts, some historical shifts.
Yeah.
Because, for example, the opposition is now a party that is about, I think it was 3 months. Was just 3 months before election it was formed. Am I right, correct?
Just about 4 months.
Yes. And that party is now the opposition party. The historical party, which is my older listeners and viewers will remember the PNC, right?
Yes,
that party now is no longer in opposition. Well, it is one of the opposition parties, but it's not the main opposition.
It is not the main opposition.
Yes, it's not the main opposition. And then what is happening? May I ask, what is happening in that party right now? It's, for example, Mr. Norton. Is he still the leader?
Mr. Norton remains the leader of the PNC until there is until the party congress is held.
Okay.
And then whether we have new persons emerging and competing for the position of leader, or you're going to have Mr. Norton there being elected again to serve as leader of the party. What has happened in regards to the opposition, the parliamentary seats, the PNC, or APNU, as a matter of fact, they have been able to secure 12 seats, and there is a new parliamentary lead person who will be sitting in the parliament with those parliamentarians.
Okay.
And so they are going to take the fight on for the people of Guyana. We also have three parties representing the opposition. So we have one political party that was able to secure one seat. We have the APNU with 12 seats, and we have the Women Party with 16 seats, and the governing party 36 seats.
Okay, yes. Well, I see that is a shift in the political geography of Guyana. Yes. And,
yes, it is.
Yes. And so, let us, I can't say the new government because that was the government before election, but how are things shaping up since elections?
Well, what is happening right now is that persons are still reeling from the shock, because there were so many things that happened before the elections and on elections day, and you would remember the opposition would have been calling for biometrics, a new voters list and biometrics. The government blanked their ears to that all. And so it never happened, even though that was one of the recommendations made by the OAS, by CARICOM, and even by the Carter Center, that for the next elections, we should be going off there with a voters list and biometrics. We've also seen the government implementing this amendment, which said that if you're a Commonwealth, a citizen from a Commonwealth nation, all you had to do was spend 1 year in Guyana and you would have been eligible to vote. That they raised lots and lots of eyebrows, because if you check across the Caribbean and further afield, there is no such thing happening where a Commonwealth citizen could come into your country and then after a year, they're eligible for voting at your national elections. We have also seen where you had a whole host of Bangladeshis and some from Pakistan, and you've seen those from Venezuela being issued with identification cards as recent as July of 2025 so that they can vote in September of 2025. And so all of those are eyebrow raisers, and they have led to the observers saying that even though the process was a smooth process, the elections itself was compromised.
That's what the observers said?
Yes, so the observers themselves are saying that the process in terms of persons voting there, that was smooth. That process was smooth. But in the absence of the biometrics and all of these voters voting, being allowed to vote, that raised lots and lots of eyebrows. Mm-hmm. And so this is where we are at this time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Well, it is left up to the opposition parties to continue to put those issues on the table so that things can be resolved. But the workers, the people, well, I can well imagine that the people now are just settling in, and
what? Well, yes, Guyanese are now settling in. Like I said, many of them are reeling from the shock. Of course, we recognize that money played a big role in the elections, and that is vote buying, where you found that there were two money giants, that of the government and the new party. where monies were used to buy voters. Voters went out there and voted for 250 US, in some cases 150 US, in some cases 250 US dollars. In other cases, you found our indigenous folks were given big bribes, $8 million Ghana dollars, to ensure that their indigenous settlements voted in a particular way.
That is scandalous, correct? So
it is what
vote buying was a big feature in the elections. That's what you are saying?
Yes, and so the elections was not based on policies.
Yeah.
The elections was based on who came around and gave me monies, and I voted that way. We saw coming out of the Win Party, cars, one area, I can tell you, 5 persons were gifted motor cars. Yeah. Another 6 or 7 persons were gifted motorcycles, as gifts.
Okay.
And so that is what influenced and changed the landscape of the way the voting went this time around. We saw the government as well during their campaign, roads that were not done in communities were done overnight. Let me put it that way. You saw the issuing of the cash grant, and so it was a case where voters were actually bought and sold.
Wow. But Coretta, that is not good for the Guyanese election process.
It is not. It's absolutely not good for the process, because you know what is happening today. When some persons would have collected their 250 US dollars, their 150 US dollars, that is already expended. They've already spent that, and they still have to face the hardship against a party, the APNU, which was saying to the citizens of Guyana, look, if you vote for us, at the end of the elections process, we are going to be issuing free house lots to any Guyanese citizen 18 years and above. You will have a free house lot. We are going to ensure that every region, there is an agricultural drive in every region, so that regions will not have to suffer not being able to sell their products. Those who are agricultural oriented, they're not going to be able to sell their products, and you wouldn't have the kind of need and shortage in any one of the regions in this country. Outside of that, our senior citizens were going to receive $100,000 as old age pension for the month, not forgetting our school children who would have been receiving $120,000 in 2 tranches for the year, But again, the Guyanese are now reeling from the choices that they have made, and they've recognized that the new opposition, there isn't anything much they can do, because the leader of the opposition, like I said, has been sanctioned and indicted by the U.S. government. And so all eyes and ears are now there waiting to see when that request is going to be made by the Guyana government for those 2 persons to be extradited. As a matter of fact, the Attorney General has already indicated that his government stands ready and willing to honor that request when it would have been sent by the U.S. government. So all of those things are now having the Guyanese people here thinking about what is going to happen. If the opposition leader is extradited to the U.S., then what happens in that case? Who will be the new opposition leader? Would the opposition leader then be signing off on some authorization, some letter to the Guyana Elections Commission saying, I am no longer the opposition leader, but I am entrusting everything into the hands of the person who is the second highest in my party. Those kinds of questions are flooding the minds of our Guyanese people at this time.
Wow, really sounds challenging, Coretta. It's challenging. Well, at the moment, what would you say is the position of the trade unions in Guyana? What is happening to wage negotiations and all that sort of thing? What is happening?
Well, trade unions at this time, most are in the same position that we left them before September 1st, in the sense that as long as you are not closely connected to the government, then you and your members will continue to, like that of the GTU, the Guyana Teachers Union, which is a union that speaks boldly. That union is still in limbo because even after the court would have ruled that the government should reinstate the deduction of the dues. And that matter went to the appeals court. The appeals court upheld the decision of the High Court. To date, a year and the change, we are in the 10th month of the year. That happened in February of last year. And to date, the government has not budged. And so here is it, we have a government that is lawless, a government that does not recognize the rule of law, a government that does not recognize the rule of democracy, a government that is a bully, and a government that feels that they can have total control over what must be done and what should not be done. And then while the government is fighting with that, at our airports, we are seeing huge stocks of cocaine being shipped out of this country. We just had a huge cocaine bust at the airport, and to date, nobody could be held responsible or accountable for that bust. The Canoe Department, which is the department that deals with narcotics, they can't say who the cocaine belonged to, or was a group or an individual. They can't say up to now. And so these are all of the issues that are boggling the minds of Guyanese citizens. And while that is not enough, we have the road carnage which continues to happen. And so Guyanese are in a boat all by themselves. Some very rich, some not so rich, some poor, and some very, very poor. And so the gap between the rich and the poor, it continue to expand.
Okay. Well, Coretta, we have to continue this discussion. And, based on what you are saying there, those are challenges. So we will have to keep focusing on those issues and keep them on the front burner. I want to thank you this evening for your time. And
well, I want to thank you for having me on your program, and I want to say good evening to your listening audience. And then I want to remind them that we are one big Caribbean family, and that we must always be on the lookout for each other. Because today we might be having troubles in Guyana, but tomorrow it might be in Jamaica. The next day it might be in Trinidad. So we have to continue to look out for other. And of course, Guyana has that wave over its head that Venezuela continues to throw all the time, that that county Essequibo belongs to them. And so that threat is always there, and they're bubbling up every now and again. But this is where we are. And again, thank you for having me on your program.
Okay, thank you very much, dear. That was Coretta McDonald of the Guyanese Teachers Union. And as you know that we have to keep our eyes on what is happening in the Caribbean, because remember that we are one people, and as Coretta pointed out there, that yes, there are problems in one country, no, right? But we are one family, yes. That is something that we at Rebel Radio, we don't forget, that we are one family in the Caribbean, and we have to look out for each other because we are one people, and we must do whatever we can to assist our brothers and sisters. Yes. You know, one of the things that we are watching is what is being done to assist our people in Haiti. Yes. They are having serious problems right now. Serious problems. And we are hoping that, you know, CARICOM will do whatever it can to assist our fallen brothers and sisters over in Haiti. And, you know, I say it all the time on this program, and my listeners and viewers, I want them to understand that we in the Caribbean, we are one people, right? And one of the things that, one of the features is that the issues affecting one country is common in most Caribbean countries. Yes. Well, that is the end of Workers' Time for today. I want to thank my guest, President of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, St. Patrice Ennis, President of the Midwives Association, Mrs. Edwards, and Coretta McDonald from the Guyana Teachers Union. This is Rebel Radio. Let us go for a break.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hard Heels.
Oh, Jamaica rise, we're built with fire, passion and vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores.
We're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky.
JPS, power in what matters.
Susan, what's that about? Let's see. Let's see.
To comment during the Frankly Speaking show, you
let's see
first
if
need
he's
to
my
open the video that is
dad.
being streamed live. Look for the chat box on the side or bottom of the video player. This is where you can type your message. Click inside the chat box and
Can you
use
hear
your
me,
keyboard
Franklin?
to type out what you want to say. You can type words, use emojis,
Yes.
or even ask questions. Once you've typed your message, press the enter key on your keyboard or click the send button.
Good day. Today is actually Farmer's Day, you know. This is episode 186 of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. Frankly speaking, we're going to start taking a look at the limping agriculture sector from the point of view of specific crops. Frankly speaking, today, something hard to find in the supermarkets or markets. Oranges, grapefruit, lime, citrus fruits we call them. We're going to talk about that. And cocoa, that once vibrant part of the agricultural scene. We're focusing on those today. Then, in the second part of the program, frankly speaking, we are returning to phobia, or maybe we should be calling it spiritualism, or the spirit world. Thank you for joining us again, and we encourage you to subscribe if you have not yet done so. It's easy. Just click that button. Please share the podcast with your friends and colleagues. Remember, a recording of this program will be available on the Frankly Speaking Jamaica YouTube channel for watching at your convenience. I'm Franklin McKnight. With me today are our regular panelists, Winnie Anderson Brown and Desmond Richards. Remember, we welcome your comments and questions during the show. Just use the procedure outlined earlier or go to the comment section on the Frankly Speaking Jamaica YouTube channel. Our guests for this first segment of the program are people who know the agricultural sector well. We have joining us Director of the Citrus Growers Association, John Thompson. We should also have with us agriculturalist Hugh Johnson and Leonard Fulton. Now, some of them have been having internet issues. So let's see whether we have Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson, can we start with you? Are you hearing me?
Unclear, Franklin.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, we want to start with you. Where have all the citrus gone?
Yes. Well, I would like to thank you for inviting me onto your show, and I wish a good ear listeners throughout Jamaica and elsewhere. To answer
go ahead,
you,
Mr. Thompson. Go ahead, just speak. Go ahead and speak.
Yes. What I'm saying is
ahead.
that, yeah, we are a long way away from where we were, say, 10, 20 years ago, because a lot of things has come and set back the citrus industry. Notably, the diseases of tristitia and greening, and also that we were not proactive enough in financing for replanting and research, because it is now an uphill task, but it is not impossible, because as you can see, citrus all over the world is in decline, and the price of fresh fruit and concentrate and juice is escalating. But we have good soil here, and I think we have the know-how. It is just to get the right varieties that can be resistant to the disease, and also to energize younger people to come into the industry and to plant and to let them have available lands and financing.
Mr. Thompson, you sound like we would start from scratch, man, because everything there seems an issue. You sound like we're supposed to be starting from scratch. Are we making progress? Are we on the rebound? Are we still going down?
I would say that we are at the bottom now, and I think that, in my opinion, with enough concentration of capital and the availability of having proper instructors that are versatile in citriculture to guide the farmers for the replanting program. But I think that, judging from the interest and the demand for planting material from the citrus growers, we are quite expanding at the moment, but not sufficiently in seedlings, which currently we have to grow under the new regulations under screenhouse, so that they are protected from the psyllids that will
you're saying that we're going to continue to pay $2,000 a dozen, $1,500 a dozen for oranges, half-flux oranges, $1,500, $2,000, which is the prices in the supermarkets and the markets now?
Well, it is like when the watchman fall asleep, things go awry. And it's past governments that have not taken the emergency steps that were needed, because agriculture is something that, as you know, sir, you can't wait, you can't put it on a back burner. You have to, it's time sensitive, and if you don't do things in time and in tandem with the weather, with nature, and of course with the economy, you are going to pay for it, and that is what we are paying for now.
So you're saying that right now there's no really positive on citrus that is going to suggest that limes, which are going for, I mean, the prices of lime are ridiculous.
Horrendous.
Lemon, you are saying that we are going to possibly just have to stay there and maybe import more, because I gather we are importing now.
Well, I don't know how we are importing, because under the psychosanitary regulations, we should not be importing, because you could be importing disease, which would further add to. There are certain diseases that we are free of for citrus, like canker, which is plaguing parts of Florida and places like that. And you could bring in that by importing fruit. So that is a dilemma that we face.
And you are saying citrus production is down all over the region. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, all over the world, even in Brazil and in Belize, which is a CARICOM country, and which we used to get, they used to supply us not with fresh fruit, but with a lot of concentrate to make up the shortfall that we had here.
But I'm told that in Trinidad the industry is booming. Is that correct?
I don't know of that, because what I know that in Trinidad, the factory that they had there for processing citrus was sold out by the citrus growers in Trinidad. So I don't know. I'm not so informed of what is taking place there presently.
Mr. Thompson,
yes, sir.
I know that my personal knowledge know that there were large citrus plantations in Clarendon and in St. Catherine. Now, what has happened to those?
Well, a lot of the citrus, Clarendon has been hit heavily by the disease. And also, you had a large plantation there where at Penance, where that was cut up into land, not land lease, in settlement, and a lot of the trees were not were not maintained, and that used to produce a lot of citrus for the Clarendon factory, because you had a Maypen citrus factory there, which were owned by the shops, and the citrus growers bought that factory, but they couldn't get enough citrus in the area to suffice it. So the property was sold and the equipment was moved to Bogwalk, where we had another factory there. But a lot of the production of concentrate, which is really the excess of the fresh fruit market. So you have the fresh fruit market, and then the farmers, if they couldn't sell that for table fruit, what was left back, or the excess, would go to the factory where it would be produced into concentrate. And then now that would make the juiciful orange juice and all of that throughout the year, and supply the supermarkets and the hotels and things like that. So it is a decline in the production that caused the factories, the economies of scale, for them to be uneconomical, because even with the McConnells at Bogwalk, most of their juice now is imported concentrate, and they have a large scale of citrus, which a lot of that is in decline, and they have even taken out, my understanding, some of the citrus, and they are putting in pineapples and cane. But
Mr. Thompson, put your love for the industry aside for a second. Does it make sense that Jamaica tries to focus on citrus as a crop commercially in any serious way? Does it make sense?
Yes, I think it does, because
and
the reason why I say that is that citrus is a crop that you can get 2 crops from it for the year, you know. So you can get, if you plant it right and the right varieties, you can get 2 crops of citrus for the year. So you can get citrus, basically summer fruit and winter fruit. And the thing is with that is that sugar is dead for the moment, and we have a lot of lands which are fertile, well watered, and conducive for planting of large orchards of whether mango, citrus, whatever. And I think that citrus lends itself well for intercropping, because I have seen.
Mr. Thompson, we're going to move on to. I just want to bring in Mr. Hugh Johnson, who is also an agriculturist. What you know, Mr. Johnson, we want to look at another crop that you know well, and that is cocoa. I think you are vice president of the World Cocoa Farmers Organization. Is that correct? So Johnson, you hearing me?
I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing you clearly, sir, man. Are you hearing me?
Okay, let me just try that one more time. Yes, I'm hearing you, and I wanted to just tell us. You are vice president of the World Cocoa Farmers Organization. I'd love you to tell us what's happening to cocoa in Jamaica, or what has happened to it. Sir Johnson.
Just like many other commodity crops. Just like other commodity crops. Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, you.
Okay. Just like other commodity crops, they are all in decline. Cocoa, Jamaican cocoa, which is revered around the world, even greater than Blue Mountain coffee, is being marginalized and dying. John spoke of R&D. There is no R&D happening probably for the past 15, 20 years in Jamaica as it relates to cocoa. 10 years ago, or even less than that, 5 years ago, New York Stock Exchange price for cocoa was overing about $2,000. Today, it's overing north of $12,000 per ton. We are fortunate to be one of 7 countries that produce fine and flavored cocoa. And I have said it before and I'll repeat it, that we boast about earning $4 billion annually US dollars from the tourism industry. But cocoa alone can surpass that if we focus on the right things. And
but Mr.
not for the life
Johnson,
of me.
Tell us why do you think with the potential there and so forth that we have gone so bad in it, because our production has gone down to the worst stage it has been for years? Why is that?
Ignorance, arrogance, and the lack of will. As we know that it has been struggling for decades, and a few years ago, we encountered a new disease to Jamaica, which is falciparum rot. And the government then put in place a committee to look at the disease and to try and correct the ills in it. After spending $2 billion taxpayers' dollars on that program, we are worse off than if we had left the disease to run its course. In countries that the disease have ravaged, the worst we have seen is a 70% reduction in production. After we spend $2 billion in Jamaica, we are down to 95% reduction. So I have no other conclusion than that the committee that was formed to help the industry is worse than the disease itself. And we have many countries, even our neighbor to the east, which is Dominican Republic. When we were doing 3,000 tons of cocoa, 3,500 tons annually, Dominican Republic was doing probably 500,000-600,000. Now we are down to like 50,000. Damrep is above 65,000. And
we are down to 50,000 from what? What were we are down to 50,000 from what?
In the 80s, our peak performance, we had gone north of 3,000 tons. But recently, after the Frostipod Committee devastation of the industry, we had gone down to between 30 to 50 tons annually. It's picking up back now. But I must say that we haven't done any major replanting for the last 50 years. The trees that are producing now are older than I am. And for those and other reasons like lack of research and development and the requisite injection of capital within the industry, that is where we are. And we're calling on the government to do something drastic about it, because we can't be importing everything we need and have black gold on our trees that we can reap tremendously from, and not doing that.
And when you talk to people in government, what is their response? When you talk to people in RADA, when you talk to people in the Ministry of Agriculture, what is the...
They are fiddling their thumb.
Mr. Johnson?
No concrete. Yes, those persons who are put in charge to help to boost production, they are only fiddling their thumbs and talking without action.
Well, one of the things, Franklin, one of the things that one of the things that we need to look at is that the Jamaica's agricultural sector is in decline. We are spending over $1 billion US annually to import food. And some of the food that we are importing is food that we can produce. But enough is not being done to focus on agricultural production. One of the issues that we have now is that agricultural lands are being taken out of agriculture for housing. Then the farmers, when you talk to them, the farmers are having serious issues with marketing, with lack of assistance. And therefore, the agricultural sector is something that needs some serious attention. But I am afraid that we might not get the attention that is required, because like the rest of the Caribbean, what we find is that some policymakers and their friends are the importers of food, and therefore it is going to be difficult for them to give up that lucrative market.
It seems as if Franklin dropped off. Can you hear me? Can everyone?
Yes,
He's back.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
He's
I
back.
seem to have had some problems at this end. You go ahead, Winnie.
Yes. No, I didn't hear you. So I was just, okay, let me read this comment that is here. The Jamaican cocoa industry is dying because the government has failed to protect and invest in local farmers. There's little to no subsidy, poor market access, outdated equipment, and no real receipt. No real replant.
Mm-hmm.
Says that's the comment that's there. Yes.
I should also like to add to that the government is regulating the industry to death. We have a regulatory authority by the name of JACRA that is not business friendly. I saw just over a week ago where they had a celebration of a cocoa coffee day. I must commend them for that. That is the way to go. And I would suggest for them to even take it further in schools. Those programs are well needed and necessary. But that is just a jot in the bucket as it relates to the cadre or the number of things. You can't regulate
Mr. Johnson
yourself to death. Hello?
Mr. Johnson, I just want to say that we did make contact with Jackra, but they were unable to come on the program today. But just answer me this question, Mr. Johnson, as I leave and hand over the program to Winnie as I leave now. Just answer me this question, Mr. Johnson. What do you think is the primary issue, the number one issue that is holding back cocoa, and is that similar to what is holding back the other crops, sectors from growing? Because none of them is really doing fantastic work. Can you answer that question for me, Mr. Johnson?
One that comes to mind is the regulatory authority. The regulatory authority, the players that are there have been given basket to carry water. The whole regulation is flawed, unworkable. Secondly, from the governmental perspective, PR can't run agriculture. We need practical boot on the ground to do effective implementation. Saying that you spending 100 billion on Borders Research Station and I can't get a good cocoa plant out of Border is waste of time. So we need to revamp, or in other words, we need to wheel and come again by cutting out the PR and do practical, tangible, measurable deliverables that farmers can earn from their effort and the economy can grow from it. That would be my suggestion at this time.
Great.
Also,
Mr. Thompson, as we wrap up, and
Yes.
Winnie, I'm handing over to you now. Mr. Thompson, can you say what you see as the primary issue? You were once president of the citrus growers. Can you tell us what you see as the primary issue holding back agriculture now?
Well, I
Because there
can
is the
speak.
one.
I can speak for the citrus industry specifically and generally for agriculture. I think we need to start at the top. And when we look at the development bank, agriculture need to be properly represented there, and the farmers' interests, and that people who know about what agriculture needs and how it can work, because you don't want them to set programs which are not workable financially and otherwise. You have to have an input, a strong input from the agricultural sector from the top there. At the other end, you need the boots on the ground.
And from the top, you mean minister? From the top, you mean from minister?
No, I'm talking about the government when they set up a board and they set up the boards. They need to have that the objectives can be fulfilled, and it is not, the money does not go to the people who are importing goods from China and distributing them. The distributors and the big people who set the tone of the economy, because the farmers are at the bottom of the triangle, and they need representation at the top. When you look at the primary market in Jamaica, which is Carnation Market, is small farmers feeding the capital. The food is coming from all over Jamaica. So it is small farmers we need to. The citrus growers was a small farmers association, and it was a great one. It is now into some decline, but it is recovering. And that is what we need, recovery. We need more of these organizations, agricultural organizations and cooperatives. We have to redefine the whole thing and start numbers. That is how we can grow the thing.
Well, Mr. Thompson, Desmond, I'm going to call on you to speak about representation, which you have been picking up on your show, but I'm going to ask our viewers to excuse me as Vinny is going to take over and go forward from here.
Very
Vinny?
well. Thank you.
Okay, I hope
Frank.
you all can.
You hearing me?
I hope you all can hear me. I'm hearing you.
Yes,
Can you hear me? I
Yes,
hope
yes.
everyone can hear me. Yes.
Yes.
So here
yes, yeah, yeah,
I am going to.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, hold on,
I'm going to.
Winnie.
Go ahead,
One of the
Desmond.
things
Go.
that one of the things that I want to say on this program that the issues facing Jamaican farmers are the similar issues facing the entire Caribbean. Lack of representation. All the issues that we have in Jamaica, Caribbean farmers, and we at Rebel Radio, what we have done, we have established links with farmers all across the Caribbean. And we are now in the process of setting up an organization to represent the farmers of the Caribbean. We want, for example, the farmers of Caribbean, they must have a seat at CARICOM where the policymakers meet. The farmers must have a seat there to present their case. We want the organizations in Jamaica representing farmers to step up. So, for example, the JAS is supposed to be the organization representing the farmers, and I don't see them doing that. As
Thank you, Desmond.
Okay.
Thank you. As we wrap up, there was a comment that I don't think we should wrap up without reading. Please put it back for me again, Joshua. Thank you. And this is Sherton Da Costa. I hope I said your name right. Rather needs to concentrate more on small cocoa farmers, followed by the old system of community collection. Thank you for that, Sherton. And as we say thanks to our guests in this segment, it is time for us to move to the other segment. And we thank you very much for this segment. So we will wrap up this segment. Any final words from you two gentlemen? 1 minute each, please. Who will go first?
I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best and continued success. Thank you.
Thank you so much. John?
Yes.
May I say then that in spite of all the difficulties, there is still hope because farmers are on their own putting in new trees and hoping to move to value add within the industry and not just to be primary producer of the cocoa bean. But we are asking for governmental intervention, governmental support, be a facilitator, not an hindrance to the forward movement of the industry. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is a topic that I'm sure we will come back to because food is very important to us. Thank you, gentlemen. And now it's time for our second segment. Yes. Obia and spirituality. Yes. How we couch that. Do we have our guests? We should have Amy Zion, a pastor from Amy Zion Church, Pastor Novel Gale. And we also have Colonel Wally Sterling of the Moortown Maroons. Do we have you both, gentlemen? Welcome. And we will begin with Colonel Wally Sterling. The question is, what is Obia? Can you tell us what that is and how we can differentiate it from other practices? Thank you, Colonel.
Let me first of all say good afternoon and good evening to your guests and the persons who are listening on this broadcast. I mean,
good afternoon.
Are you all hearing me clearly?
Yes, I am hearing you.
Good.
Yes.
All right. So here's the situation, right? You asked the question, what is phobia, right?
Yes.
So So let us look at it from this angle.
Yes.
In every society, at every point in time, people have their customs and their practices that they do. I mean, for our foreparents coming out of Africa, there was no word as Obia, it was Ob, right? And while you get corrupted along the way, so they used to.
You're breaking up.
I am breaking up.
I wasn't hearing you clearly. Okay, so go ahead.
Yes, I was saying for our foreparents coming out of Africa, there was no word as Obia. It was actually Hob, right? But anyway, things get corrupted. It is what they believe in, is what they practice. And this thing was used for protecting the community from outside forces, from persons who would want to dominate them. And they find a good way in this medium. It was not something that they basically say, I am going to be worshiping. I have a particular God or some deity or something like that we're going to worship. It wasn't like that. Each individual practitioner would have had their medium through which they operate. And generally, it's generally the spirit of the ancestors that they use anyway. So when they come to this part of the world, you got to bear in mind, that our foreparents never took anything with them when they come to this part of the world, those that came from Africa. Only the knowledge that they had in their head, they took with them. So coming to this part of the world, they still maintain that knowledge and they continue to use it to their advantage. So it is only when, this thing that they were doing, the colonial powers that they decided that, this was too powerful for us to combat. So we're going to ban it. It was never anything that was intended in the first place to cause evil amongst the people in the community. It was used against outsiders. So this was something that our foreparents practiced then, still practice now, and will forever be practiced by others. That's basically what it is.
Thank you so much. We'll come right back to you. Let's go to Pastor Gail, and I'll ask you the same question. What is Obia? How do you define that?
Good afternoon to the panelists, and good afternoon to you all, our viewers. Obia is in my own interpretation is quite different from the lens of how you view it. So there is always good and bad that operates within the atmosphere. Where I am coming from is that Obia is a practice of evil, a dark magic or witchcraft or a cultic movement that is evilous in its nature, in the sense that it intends to harm others and bring harm to others, and that's where we're coming from with it.
Okay, so do you separate Obia?
So Obia is evil.
Go ahead.
Pastor, Obia is, from your perspective, Obia is evilous.
It is in terms of our own experience and understanding of it. It is something that is evilous and demonic, as we would say, within the religious community. So once it is not glorifying God, and it is a matter of fact, let's go to the natural status of man. If it brings evil to the other person, then that's where we have a problem. If it brings harm,
do you realize that the religion that you are practicing now was imposed on you?
So I would not say imposed on me, because there was no introduction earlier as it relates to my religion, but I'm from the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church, and we are coming from the United States. We came out of the United States. We are a deep-hearted Methodist church, but there is our forefathers, when they were constructing the church, had leave a avenue in the book of discipline that allows for acceptance of cultural exhibition, whether it is through music or dance or
Pastor, the religion that you are practicing now, did it come with your ancestors who came from Africa as slaves?
So the church was started by slaves in the US. They were practical persons who were seeking to worship God. It started with them trying to have a relationship with God, but were not allowed to have such freedom because they could not have black bishops, they could not have elected pastors who were dark colored or colored. And because of that, the James Varick and others stepped out of the Episcopal Church then and formed the AME Zion. And that's how our church came out of the US.
That is a very interesting point, if I may, Desmond, because the AME Zion Church is associated with Obia by those persons who don't understand it. And again, it is looked down on by people of other churches higher up on the continuum. So when that is explained, you can see why. We want to bring back Colonel Wallace Sterling in this. And
okay.
the question I want to, yes, go ahead.
Before you say that, I mean, the pastor said something that if you practice something that brings evil to others, right, then it's demonic.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, goodly pastor, countries in this world that possesses nuclear weapon and another amount of ammunitions and things, that ballistic missile and so, that is bringing harm to people. How do you condemn? Do you condemn them?
So to answer to that, it's the same way that you have the United Nations, you have the World Health Organization, and other organization that stands as a bar to not allow persons to have their own way. Is it working perfectly? No.
Right.
Certainly not. But they are there. They are there to prevent these persons from using these nuclear weapons and just use it loosely.
Yeah.
Should there be tighter regulation, we would have said so, and we would have you would have seen in our attempt to condemn what is happening right across the globe, what is happening down in between Russia and Ukraine in my time, and you have down in Palestine and Israel. So those are, and even in our own backyard here in Jamaica and between the US and other larger states. So it is there to sort of govern and to bring governance to it. But let me clarify again, it is the interpretation that we have. Obia, if it brings evil to the other person, if it is intended to harm the person. So, for example, am I harming Miss Anderson? Why am I harming Miss Anderson? And what am I using in respect to harm her? That is really where the root of the Obia argument is really.
Yeah, but I would want to say this, right? Let me first say something. I consider myself a practicing Christian, right? That's what I consider myself. And in Jamaica, the Rastafarian have their things, and they said that is their religion.
Did we lose you, or am I the one now? Yes.
Pardon me. If people decide that, you know, this is my religion, this is what I want to do, why is it banned? Because if somebody is gonna come and attack me in my home, any means of defense that I can use to defend myself, my home, my property, my family, as far as I'm concerned, that's a fair play for me. So,
Colonel, let us dive into the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter, Colonel, is not defense. The heart of the matter is intentional harm. When the intentional harm line is drawn, then that's a difference. So let's get level now, Colonel. Miss Anderson, I want to bring a point across because I want to talk about revivalism and where it is coming from. Revivalism is practiced in Jamaica, here in Jamaica, from the colonial, not from the colonial, from our maroons and ancestral persons. So let's identify the elements of it. The elements of it was the drum, the sound, the music.
One moment, please. One moment, please. Sorry to interrupt you. It is raining very heavily. So if I go, Desmond, please take over. I can hardly hear. It's raining heavily. Continue.
Okay.
Okay,
yes.
So the Obia then, not the Obia, I don't want to go to the Obia, I want to stick with the revival religion. Miss Anderson pointed it out earlier that it is trampled on. Yes, because a lot of persons who on the religious scene and want to preach the gospel, they did not come with any gospel. They did not bring any gospel to the table. What they bring was a trampolizing weapon to trample another religion, to trample another religion only to make theirs look good, which is another evil. It is another form of evil, but it is not spoken about. It is as dangerous as the Obia, but then have never been spoken about. So let's take a look again why we are where we are. Why we are where we are, many of our forefathers could not go to the regular Baptist and the Methodist and the Presbyterian and other churches. 1, because they were poor. 2, they were slaves. 3, many persons did not want to associate with them. So what did they do? They created their own language, their own way of communicating, their own way of worshiping. So when you look at the American, which is our brothers and sisters, today, there are many persons who do not accept what they call it spiritual songs, in the US, because the spiritual songs is coming from somewhere, and because it is considered as black spiritual, so the very title of it is demeaning, and that is where we are in terms of when you talk about the religious scope, Miss Anderson, in terms of the revival church versus Obia versus Pocomania. So that's really where we are.
There's a question from one of our viewers, and the question is, please put it back for me if you can hear me, Joshua. Is Obia a religion? That's Jeffrey Worrell is asking that. Is Obia a religion? Both of you can take it.
Well, first of all, let me say, I can't say definitively that it is a religion or it's not a religion. It depends on the practitioner, what the person sees it at, and how the persons want to practice it. But, but I must say to Pastor that I live in Moortown. I was raised in an AME Zion church. My mother and father were members of the AME Zion church. My mother was a secretary for as long as I could have remembered until she retired. My father was one of the last preachers in those churches. In Moortown today, there are 2 AME Zion churches registered. 2 AME Zion churches. One that what they used to attend first, and then the other one And there are 2 more churches in Moortown, which is pretty much akin to AME Zion Church, as far as I am concerned. The Fire Baptist, and then the other one, some sort of Governor Truth or something like that. But if the people, in my view and my opinion, if I am free to practice Christianity because I believe in what Christianity says, and the other person believe in what his thing is saying to him, that is that person's prerogative to do it. I am not going to be quarreling with the person. I'm not going to be saying to you, is it a religion or is it not a religion? That is not my place to determine that. If the persons make those determinations, then that is their prerogative. And just like what the Constitution says, if the Constitution says freedom of religion, then it should not be free for the AME Zion Church, for the Anglican, the Baptist, and the Catholic, and the Seventh-day Adventist, and not be free for the others. Yet their customs and practice should not be banned. Whether they are in line with the Almighty, yes or no, that's another question for and that's the Almighty to deal with that, not for us to deal with it.
Well, over to you, Pastor Gale. Is Obia a religion? What's your take?
I wouldn't say it is a religion, but it ends up in some religious practices. And the danger with Obia and religion is that
am I the only one not hearing?
I'm not hearing the pastor.
We lost you, Pastor. Yes, we're not hearing. Okay, until he comes back, I have a question for you, Colonel. Is Obia and necromancy the same thing? Or is necromancy a part of Obia?
Both of them can be described as the same thing in more ways than one, too. But, different persons call probably the same thing by different name. In terms of the practices that the things that they do, the rituals and so forth, they might be similar. They might not be exact, but there are similarity. And for location, cultural things, the same thing is called, by different name. Because, as I said before, that when you look at the AME Zion Church, which I can speak to with a lot of certainty because, as I said, I grew up in that church. My mother and father were prominent members of those churches. And you look at, when you try to look at what will take place, for example, at a Cromanti play, right? It's like, a whole thing. And you look at what is happening in those churches, right? It is just how do you find a way to synthesize African custom, practice, and belief with westernized Christian society? That's basically what it is. And there are many similarities, the Cromanti play is gonna have, they're gonna have rum. It's same thing, spirit is in the church, the alcohol is in there, the wine is in there, the candle is in there, the play is gonna have fire, it is in the church. They don't have a cross, but they have a sword, which represents the cross. And all the other things that you can, the people getting into Mile, the same thing happened in the AME Zion Church. I have been there, I know, I'm not speaking as somebody who has not been exposed to it. My early religious upbringing was in an AME Zion Church. So I know that, Obia was not banned in Jamaica because it was bad, It was banned because our foreparents could have used this to defend themselves against the colonial powers. That's the underlying fact. Ganja was not banned in Jamaica because ganja is that bad. If the colonizer had an angle on it, they wouldn't have banned it. They wouldn't have made it a criminal offense. Now the government is getting an angle on it and they decriminalize it. So, we just have to look at things, and because the person doesn't see the thing through your eye, doesn't mean that what the person is doing is necessarily wrong. You can be absolutely right, and the other person is dead wrong. But if the Constitution gives them a right to practice their thing, then let us either change the Constitution or just allow them to do what they have to do. So, the Obeah and the Nigromancy thing, as I said before, it depends on to whom you speak and how the persons want to look at it. Because, like, in most like in Maroon's situation, whenever we use the word woman, we use the word science. Obeah is a science man. That's how we look at it.
Yes. Yes, but with
Well, okay, that's the end of today's program. Thanks to all my listeners and viewers. Thanks to my technical operator, Kevin. And as per usual, I am urging all the users of the road to be careful. Too many casualties, too many. And try and remain safe. Try and keep out of the ways of the gunmen. They are on the rampage. Well, until Wednesday, this is Rebel Radio, and I am Desmond Richards.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
And vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores,
we're reaching heights, our energy that